day, viewers. You welcome to your program, my program, our program, the Honorable TV. Today, we are somewhere in the office of one of the leaders in Lagos State, and we want to believe that he is one of the persons where and whom we believe that we need to bestow a leadership title to him. I'll be right back.
4 whole hours from my office to this house.
What sort of a distressing nation is this?
Dad, Nigeria is not distressing. Other nations experience traffic too. In school, we queue too. If people begin to change their orientation, as our leaders repair roads and expressways, we will all see a change. Remember, only good people can make a great nation, and it begins with you.
Yeah, welcome back once again. Today, we are somewhere in Ifakoja local government where we have one of the leaders in this constituency, in this local government. I'm talking of whom? In the person of Honorable Dayo Saka Fafunmi, who happens to be one time member of Lagos State House of Assembly here in Lagos, and still holding more vital posts in Ifakoja and in Lagos State as a whole. So once again, I welcome you to your program. Honorable, good day, sir.
Good day to you.
Sir, it happens so we are here today. Let's get to meet you one-on-one, sir, in this program.
Well, my name is Honorable Dayo Saka Fafunmi. I was born and bred in Ifakoja. I started my primary education at local authority primary school Agege, and I was there till primary 4, when in 1979, when Jakande became the late Jakande became the executive governor of Lagos State, and he decided to build more schools. One of his pet projects then was to ensure that education is given to every student, every child, irrespective of your parents are rich or poor. And that, in a way, took me to Okera Primary School, where I did my primary 5 and primary 6. From there, I went to Okera Grammar School. I was in Okera Grammar School, did my Form 1 to Form 5 in those days.
Yes,
then I proceeded to University of Ilorin, where I studied engineering, and I left University of Ilorin in '96. I later I started working. I worked both in private sector and public sector. Later, I went back to study law in Unilag, and I hold a master's degree in public administration.
Okay, sir, you've been so far, you've mentioned so many areas in which you've studied, and we want to believe with this could be one of the reasons why people want to consider you as one of the great leaders when it has to do with politics in this Lagos State, not even in this local government, sir. So with that, can we know the reason why you are into politics? What actually brought you into politics? Because to some people they will say you want to fight for the masses, while to some it is basically a self-interest that leads them into politics. So can we?
Well, for me, I'll tell you that my interest in politics was born out of, the strong conviction that I have a lot to turn around in my immediate community. I mean, if during my school days someone could turn around the situation, because when I started going to school, we were doing morning shift, afternoon and evening shift as a student. Some of us were in primary 1, we would go in the morning. Those who are in primary 2, 3, some of them will go in the afternoon.
Is that your institution or your
primary school?
Okay.
Local authority primary school, Agege. I don't know the new name given to it now, but the school is still there.
Where precisely is this school in this Agege local government or in Ifakoja?
Now let me explain to you. You see, those of us living around this axis of Ifakojaye.
Okay.
Ogba, Jaya Baton,
Okay, sir.
Abeokuta Street, maybe and everyone. Most of us, there is no direct connection from this side to jungle. Jungle then is called jungle because it's seen as a thick forest area.
Okay,
So we don't navigate in that direction. Those of us who are in Ifako, who are in Ogba, Uniwaya area, axis of Ifakojaye, we don't even transverse in that direction. We go through, this new Kayode Street to Ogba.
Okay.
Go through Ajagbandu, just bust out, find yourself around Sakamori. Then from there you go to Ikeja or you go to Agege. As at that time, yes, I was telling you, the only hospital that we have in the entire area, in the entire community, is that same general hospital that we see in Ikeja.
The same general hospital in
That
Ikeja?
same general hospital. So that's to tell you that no, the general hospital is what is serving the entire community, except the pocket of few private hospital, just like two, St. Luke's of those days and County Hospital. Aside those two, you won't have any hospital.
Okay, then even there's nothing like St. Nicholas then?
No, I was not saying that. You can't do, those are just the one that were accessible by the people of Ifakojaye.
Okay.
So your question, back to your question, that has to do with, I should tell you a bit of
how you come to politics.
How I came into politics. Yes. Don't forget that my father was a politician. Okay. I grew up in a political environment, but then growing up, seeing them during UPN days, in fact, I was barely trying to understand what do they mean by voting as at then, because I was still very young, and I saw my father's contribution. One thing led to another. From UPN days, I became quite active and getting to understand what politics is all about during SDP NRC days. I was in the university then. I was almost out of university during those days. So whenever there's election or there's anything of primaries, get involved. They call us. That's how I started. Having interest in politics. I did not start my life by saying that immediately I left university I wanted to be a politician. No, I followed my dream, my passion, because I studied engineering. Okay. I did my profession. I was in the private sector and public sector for a period of about 10 years.
But you never studied political science?
I don't need to study political science before I become a politician. So I'm just telling you that I didn't just leave university. I left school. I graduated 1996, and that was when I did my first degree. And I did not immediately start politics in 1996. Though I've been there with them, I didn't start contesting. Okay. As at 1996.
Yeah, but do you have a particular mentor? Maybe you get someone that is mentoring you, or will you say it is because of your father that has been in politics that really brought you into politics, or your core interest?
Well, I want to say that is political ideology what I see around me to a large extent influenced my decision to say that, look, if this is what is happening in politics, in the political space, I can offer much more. And that led to my interest in aspiring for Lagos House of Assembly way back 2003. 2003, when I contested, it was meant to be a delegate election. I felt if you just have the right delegate, go in there, you stay through. I was made to understand that politics is much more than that. And on that day, I was told to step down for Honorable Omowurare. He needs to run his second term. and I did in the interest of the party. I went back home. I continued the struggle, and the struggle is all about ensuring that someone from this community, someone who understands where the shoe pinches, someone who we can see and call our own, is given opportunity. And in 2006, thereabout, I had the opportunity of contesting again, and that was when I won my primaries in December 2006 and general election 2007, and that was when I became honorable member in 2007 until 2019.
Okay, in Lagos State.
Lagos State House of Assembly.
Okay, why you happen to be one of the members of the House of Assembly? Were you opportune to be maybe chairman, house on this or that then?
Well, I'll tell you that when in my first tenure as a member, I was chairman committee on infrastructure, infrastructure. So that's probably account for my ability to do pocket of infrastructural development you see in this constituency.
Okay, exactly. So this we have two constituencies in Ifakoja, Ujoko, right? I want to believe, sir. So we have Ifakoja happens to be constituency 01, sir. Yeah. Now, can you briefly tell us what actually you can really pinpoint that has been your contribution to the growth and development of this your constituency in particular?
Well, let me quickly run through this thing because
yes.
A lot of people often confuse the duty of a lawmaker with that of an executive. I am not an honorable member. Is not meant to execute projects. I'm not an executive. So what I can do at best is to see how I can facilitate development, through the instrument of budgeting. I'm using my responsibility in the area of representation. The basic responsibility of a lawmaker is to make laws. Aside lawmaking, is the second best to me by my own categorization is representation. Okay. What are the genuine needs of the people? Bring the needs of the people to the knowledge of government. It could be through motion, it could be through other means, so that government will know what the people actually want. Then the other thing that we do is legitimizing government appointment. And fourth thing is oversight. Aside these four, a lawmaker does not have any other function. But during my tenure, I was able to facilitate the construction of this Iju Road. During my first tenure, right from Pennsylvania to Ishaga, during my first tenure, I can tell you there was no motorable, there was no road in the faculty. If you are commuting from Pennsylvania to Ishaga, it might take you as much as 4 hours. You won't believe it. It got to a point people were not even plying that route. Now, to the glory of God, we were able to do that. Then, during my second tenure, towards the tail end, I was able to do that one. During my second tenure, His Excellency, then Babatunde Raji Fashola, approved 3 major arterial routes for me. Now, that includes this college route that you are saying.
Okay, so this very road came during your tenure?
Of course, it was facilitated by myself. And all I need to do then, because the special advisor works then, it does not know the difference between the Fakoya constituency 1 and constituency 2. Let's assume, but assuming without conceding to the fact that he might know, but he told me he does not know the difference. So he did, more like he did a couple of roads in constituency 2, and I had to come up with a petition and say, look, why is it that all the concentration there? Or why is the concentration there? Why not this area? So I had a listening governor, so to say, because when my letter got to Fashola invited me, and I now went to him and I explained everything to him. Right there, he approved 3 roads, and that is this network of roads you are seeing. This one you are seeing here, network of roads in Ajuwon. The third one is Abiola Onijemo to link Obawale. Because my interest then was to open up the entire Ifakoja, so that there will be less traffic to congest the entire area. So you can see that even now, with the introduction of the Pen Cinema Bridge, there is less traffic in this area. The traffic is now moved to this college road
for now.
But by the time that the governor, because they're still proposing another bridge at Fagba, we are able to construct that Fagba bridge. There will be no traffic on this route.
Okay, there was this side talk, maybe I should put it that way, when they kind of, will I say a rumor, maybe you are going to clear the air about this, that you happen to be, maybe after your political posing as member of House of Assembly, you now maybe emerge or are given appointment by Honorable Sir Mudashiru Obasa. You happen to be his Chief of Staff, and they were like, is there any office in the House of Assembly that has to do with Chief of Staff office? So what is your take about this, sir?
Well, let me explain to you that as far as my knowledge can take me, in the Nigeria political system, I became aware of that position, the Office of Chief of Staff, during Asiwaju's tenure, when Lai Mohammed, the current Minister for Information, was Asiwaju's Chief of Staff. That was when I discovered, I know the origin of Chief of Staff, because I know during Kayode Lati Jakonde and subsequent officers, that designation Chief of Staff was not very common, was not known until after Asiwaju, and subsequently the executive have always been having Chief of Staff. The Speaker of Assembly, by virtue of his office, is the head of legislative arm of government. Maybe a lot of you don't understand. When you say government stands on three legs, three arms. The executive, in fact, the Constitution first listed the legislature because the legislature more or less is the heart of government. It's the law that drives everything. It's pivotal. Yeah. Now, when you say government, executive has Chief of Staff. This one, which is the first one, which is listed, the legislature. The head of the head there is the governor. The head there is the speaker. Then the other leg is judiciary. It is the three of them. When one is missing, it is not a government. You understand? It is not a democratically standing government. There's no democracy. The three must be present for there to be democracy. You notice that during military intervention, during when they take over government, you will see that this one is not there. The legislature is never there. It's never there.
That is
so
for the military junta.
For there to be democracy, for there to be the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, the legislature must be there. So I wasn't the first Chief of Staff.
Okay, I
wasn't the first Chief of Staff that to the Speaker of the House. During Ekuforiji tenure, he had the Chief of Staff. After his tenure, Obasa, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, first tenure, he had a Chief of Staff. So at the end of my tenure, when I was still idle, that was when he invited me and told me he still wants me to do certain things. And that was why I accepted. More importantly, as at that time I was aspiring to be a member of the cabinet, or to have an appointment elsewhere. But here I am. I had to take what was given to me, and that explains everything that transpires. It wasn't because the office government is not stagnant. You understand? Now, what the office, what is like administrative head
Okay, so
of all the staff that works under
the chief of staff.
that works under the speaker's office. That's the description of the chief of staff.
Okay.
Because the chief of staff is meant to coordinate
Other staffs.
that works under the office of the speaker.
Okay.
I didn't say the entire staff
Of the
State House of Assembly, because the entire staff will include every other person. But those staff of the Right Honorable Speaker are directly under the chief of staff.
Okay. Thank you so much about that, sir. Say your honorable TV, sir. Viewers at home, he has been able to at least facilitate so many routes that has been able to decongest the road traffic in our area. Please, why don't you stay with me? I'll be right back. Welcome back once again. We're still on the honorable, where honors are being bestowed to the honorables. Now we are back in the system. We still want to have one or two things to discuss with our honorable in the building, who happens to be the one-time member of Lagos State House of Assembly, that is the president of Honorable Dayo Saka Fafunmi. Sir, you've been able to pinpoint some area which you've been able to at least help to facilitate during your tenure in the house. We want to believe personally there must have been one or two things that you've been able to at least help the community to work out in the area. So can you please tell us one or two areas which you've been able to cushion the effects?
Well, personally, I'm someone that believes strongly that we need to improve on our entrepreneurship mindset, because it's small companies that grows into bigger ones, and that is how to grow the economy. When you grow your economy, you have if any state or any country is seen to be experiencing growth, even if your GDP is increasing, if you cannot match it, if the effect of that growth is not felt by the common man on the street, you have not done anything. It's just a growth on paper. There's no a real growth as far as I'm concerned. Now, on that premise, that informed my decision to see how I can build more entrepreneurs in my local government. I started by ensuring that I have a vocational institute. This building that we are in.
Will you say that like empowerment stuff, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
A vocational institute where they come in to learn various arts. The first one which I started was an ICT program where I trained them in the art of computing, desktop publishing, web design. At the end of the day, when you are living here, it's usually started by training them for minimum of 4 months, some stays for 6 months. IT training.
Okay.
Every day.
From when? From what year do you really started that time?
I started it during my first tenure. That's why it's always when I'm contesting the election and it's the masses that determines what happens. They turn out in good numbers. I started by ensuring that the moment you leave secondary school, instead of allowing them to stay idle, or even some who are still in secondary school, they don't have access to computer in those days. I'm still saying about 2008 thereabout till 2019. So you can just calculate, have an idea of the number of students that will have passed through this vocational institute. As I'm running that, those who are not interested in ICT, I give them the opportunity of learning fashion designing. Since that time, because I started the two programs.
Still running
concurrently. I started them concurrently. Now, after running that, I didn't just teach them. The fashion is a whole year, 1 year. If you know you are not ready to learn, don't come, because I'm not ready to do a political. I'm not thinking of giving a political solution. So, okay, I've trained you in 6 months or 3 months. You can sew. You won't sew anything. You won't sew.
Perfection on that.
Yeah. So that's why I usually take them for 1 year. And at the end of the training, I often empower them with a machine so that they can start, on their own. Then I tried as much as possible to see how I can synergize their thoughts so that they can work as a group, because teamwork pays more. It pays more than a singular effort. So I later introduced makeup. This this makeup and I don't know what they call it. Makeup and tying of headgear.
Yes.
Now that tying of headgear and makeup, actually they put food on the on the table of so many, especially those women that are sure of. It's just to acquire the skill. I train them 3 months to acquire the skills. Then other things like free GCE, free jam form, all those things.
We want to really commend your effort on that from this table of honorable TV side.
And don't forget, don't forget, I was the first honorable member to run a free school bus in Ifakojai. I ran it. I ran it since my first tenure till when I finished the tenure. Till when I finished my tenure in 2019.
Okay, we could remember there is this long,
luxurious buses like BRT.
BRT stuff.
Yeah, I started with 2 American buses.
But sir, will you say because you no more member of ours that will you say that was why you quit that stuff? Because I want to believe I have my family kids there. They do enjoy the service there.
Let me be frank with you. A man with no job has limited resources.
Sure.
Currently, I don't have any job. That is the reason why those buses are not on the roads. Okay. But the moment I'm able to see people who will support me, it's not easy. I still have those buses. I didn't sell them. Even when I left office, most of my colleagues were saying, "Dayo, sell your bus to me now. I want to continue your program." I said no. I bought it for the people of Akoja and it will remain their property. I'm sure by the time I have the new local government in place,
yes, sir,
I will give the local government a proposal and see how we can partner.
Okay, with that really brings us to the next question. In the last primary election that was held in this local government, we want to believe you must have performed wonderfully well, especially in your ward, Ward A. If I want to be apart from other words, because we want to start, we really mentored and monitor the election that very day. At least out of the 7 wards in this local government, we went to like about 4 wards, which we really monitor what really happened that day. Sir, let me say firstly, let me congratulate you. Let me put it that way. At least for one of your candidates emerged from the wards, and at the same time, let me congratulate you on the APC flag bearer for the chairmanship in the local government. Yeah. Sir, one, what is your contribution then? Then what do you think will still be your contribution towards the general election comes July 24th?
Well, the thing is, truth be told, right?
Yes.
A lot of people from Ifakojaya, so they were ready, very prepared for change. A lot of people are tired of old ways of doing things. Ifakojaya is one of the local governments that is, I would say, maybe 4th or 5th top earners when it comes to federal allocation. You know, money that comes from the federation account. The moment you have Ifelodun, Ajeromi Ifelodun, Amuwo, Odofin, then maybe I'm not sure between Ojo and one other local government. The next is Ifakojaya. Ifakojaya collects more money than Ojodu. Ifakojaya collects more money than most of the local governments.
This is the part.
What? That is the reason why a lot of people decided to say that it is time for us to put one of our own. You don't forget that I wanted to be the local government chairman at a point.
Yes, I wanted to even that.
Now, my reason for
saw your posters around the corners there.
Fine. My reason for wanting to be local government chairman then was born out of the conviction that if as a lawmaker I can touch the lives of few people, if as a lawmaker I can meet the needs of the students, if as a lawmaker I can do all those things, if I have the power to be an executive where I will have access to resources, I will be able to do much more. So that was why I wanted to do it. But in the process, I saw another candidate who shared my view and interest.
Now step down
and is much younger. Okay. I said fine. Instead of continuing to drag this thing while I don't have anybody to watch my own back, it's better I watch this young, vibrant mind, watch his back, and ensure that, you know, he succeeds. And that informed my decision to publicly endorse my support. And when I did the endorsement, I know that other groups started, you know, they all joined about
endorsement of who, sir?
Endorsement of USMAN HAMZAT.
Okay, but I think I haven't endorsed the man. Will you believe, because we have about, will I say 9 contestants in this local government then?
Yes, they were about 9.
Yes, before they now started maybe merging or stepping down and the rest.
Yes, more than 9.
After the election, sir.
Yes, I think about 13 took the
13,
form.
yes, 13 before they get to 9 after the screening, sir. Now, after the primaries, Honorable USMAN HAMZAT emerged as the flag bearer of the party.
Yes.
There was even this kind of, will I say, grapevine rumor in terms of we started again. They want to like impose. Is it because this person happens to be a brother to the incumbent deputy? What do you have to say about that stuff, sir?
You know, it's just
speculations.
It's just those shenanigans who have lost faith and who probably want to entrench their evil deeds in Ifakojaya. Let me tell you, the truth is, USMAN is the junior brother of the deputy governor of Lagos State. Right. But the deputy governor at any point did not come to Ifakojaya to campaign for USMAN. Neither as if, you know, he did not hold any meeting with the entire Ifakojaya to solicit support for his brother. But as politicians, he's a leader in our party. You have other leaders in our party. Sometimes when you watch the body language of your leaders, you know what to do. So not only that, I decided to pitch my tent with him because I believe he will not turn to a semi-god in Ifakojaya. He will not turn himself to a semi-god in Ifakojaye, where nobody can talk to, where someone who you can't even give him suggestion on how to improve the local government.
Okay.
So I believe that this is a young mind that is still, that is still open to corrections and ready for improvement.
Okay. On that note, sir, the outgoing, still incumbent, or let me put it, outgoing chairman of this local government in the person of Honorable Dr. Apostle Honorable Tabalki, will you, let me say, how can you score the regime of that?
In terms of what? In terms of what? How do you want to say?
Just score it generally in terms of the maybe development, new innovations and new things for the past 8 years he has.
No, he spent only 7 years.
Okay, let's look at it from that 7 years. How can you at least let's have a kind of rate, or let's have a score? How will you?
I probably will not be able to rate him, because if I'm to rate him, people will feel that I'm not being fair. I was once a public officer.
Okay.
The public officers are rated by virtue of their deliverables. Now, he will be able to, at the end of his tenure, he will be able to. It's the masses of Ifakojaye that will give him his score mark. It's the people of Ifakojaye, which I'm sure they showed him a little of his scorecard during the primaries. But by the time it's true, at the end of his tenure, I work freely in my constituency, having spent 12 years. I still do anything, I still aspire. But by the time it's true, then his relationship with the masses will tell him his score mark, his scorecard. Because I know that you want me to say he has done 1 road or 2 roads. I have not to tell you the number of roads. Go around the entire local government and search for the number of roads he has done. In terms of aside road, schools, how many schools did you build during the tenure? Go around the entire local government and do your findings. How many people has he employed? Because these are indices that you can use in measuring performance.
Okay, so actually sometimes they do say posterity still judge issues sometimes. So, but Honorable USMAN HAMZAT, haven't emerged as the flag bearer of this party.
Yeah.
Then by his grace, let's say he emerged as the chairman of this local government.
Yes.
Now, do you see him turning things around good for this local government?
Of course.
And what are the differences you think he will put across to the local government side?
Well, I cannot really speak his mind, and I probably can't determine the policy direction of his administration.
Yes, sir.
If it's me, but all I know is he will be a good listener, because if you call him, he picks his call. That's a sign that when he gets there, he will continue to pick his call, and we will keep telling him, advising him on how best we feel the local government should be administered. I see him as someone that has a name to protect, a family name. I see him as someone that will want to create a niche for himself.
Okay.
So that's why I strongly believe, it should be, the whole thing should be a success.
Okay, let's look at the legislative arm of the council. How do you really see their performances during the tenure while they were in office? We have the leaders of the house, the majority leader, and the rest, and the councillors. Don't you think there are sometimes maybe there are some issues when they were at the chamber sitting? Don't you think there are some areas which they need to correct the chairman in case maybe there's some area he's trying to go against wrong?
Well, let me be open to you here. Like I was on LTV on June 12th, and I was conversing for a position that the legislators are at the mercy of the people. Why am I saying this? It takes a leader, a governor, or any executive with a pragmatic mindset to think of developing capacity at the legislative arm. Most of executive, they don't really want to expose the legislature, so they are not ready to give them training, they are not ready to empower them, they are not ready to. But that's why the governors in Lagos State, right from our leader Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he empowered the legislature. That's why Lagos House is the best. If we don't have such visionary leader, Lagos House will still be like other houses of assembly in the federation. Now look at when Fashola came on board, BRF exposed us to a lot of training. Most of us were not like this when we started. There is no honorable member in Lagos State that has not improved in all areas of his life. During Ashwaju and during, at least I served under BRF. 8 years of BRF I was there. And I was there first 4 years, the 4 years of Abode. You understand? So now, for you to have a good society, you have to not just have an executive. There must be check and balances. Your councillors at the local government level must be very sound. That is when they can challenge and propel the local government chairman to work, to discharge his obligation under the law. But when you have people who can't even express themselves as councillors, when you have people who go cap in hand every month to beg the chairman for money, the legislators should be strengthened. Even at the local government, they should be given autonomy. They should be allowed to control themselves. There should be a bit of independence, because it's an arm of government.
Okay. So, on that note, briefly, according to our honorable, he said there should be check and balances when it has to do with the legislative, executive, and judiciary in the council, be it local or the state or in the federal. On that note, I will briefly go on this short break. Then when I come back, we want to say the next election that has to do with the primary, then that it has to do with our presidency come 2023. I'll be right back.
You get sense, so it's not why I send you. Chai, what be this? If you do this again, which kind of your country where man picking live so?
Abba, not be so now. You self know, say God bless this country with plenty resources, food, oil, everything there. Now only if our leaders feel use them well, and we say we help them, work hard, talk better about this country, Nigeria. Things go better. Now only good people can make a great nation, and now from you it will start.
Yeah, welcome back. Still your program, my program, the Honorable TV. We are the honor being bestowed to the Honorable. Sir, briefly, we wanted to just open up to our viewers at home to be candid. Come 2023, the general election, that is the presidency election, is around the corner. I would like you to just say emphatically, how reliable is this primary as in the coming election for the general? Do you see Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu really coming out to contest? Then what is your stand or your view about this?
Well, I feel at this point, I should say that 2023, yes, it's a reality. Because the government of PNB has the mandate for 4 years, and 4 additional 4 years. And at the expiration of that 4 years, the Constitution does not permit an extension of time or tenure there. So 2023, someone else will go in as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But having served for 8 years, the power is in the north currently. Before then, it was Goodluck Jonathan who was in power. He was there for a period of about 6-7 years. Now, definitely, power must shift back to the south. Okay. South have had, it can't go to that region. So it is more logical for anyone to look in the direction of southwest, and that informed our decision to join. That informed my decision to join the Swagger group, Southwest Agenda, because the whole intent is to see how Southwest can produce a candidate. We want to have a credible candidate that we know that his antecedent, his pedigree speaks volume, and we've looked at the length and breadth of this country, the Southwest, and we believe that there's no better candidate that we can push forward. Yes, in terms of experience, in terms of capacity, in terms of how best do you describe a lion? A man who understands the game of politics itself, who knows much about governance, and a man,
that is the person of who?
A man, there's something unique about him. A man who is very good at identifying good hands. It takes a man with an extra sense to know who is very smart. He is not. I should argue, most people who, if you have opportunity of listening to him at any point, the few times I've had opportunity of listening to him, sometimes I admire him from afar, and I wonder if he's a human. How does he think? If you look at his policies, his decision making, because leadership is all about decision making. For him to have retained the leadership of Lagos for this long, look at all the decisions he has made. We might not be happy with some, but at the end of the day, we have to buy into his vision. He has a vision. That's why we all want Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be the representative of Southwest and ultimately, win the primaries and become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because it is a turn. Not only because it's a turn, because we need someone who can hobnob with the youth. Yes. And the old. We need someone who is decapitalized, who does not look at you and say, I'm giving you this job because you're a Yoruba man. Okay, sir. He will look at your merit. Does it have the capacity to deliver? So that's why I'm strongly in support of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, sir. Let me be factual now. Look at the level of the killing and maiming in the states generally here and there.
But it does not really happen in Lagos State.
Not really.
Killing and maiming
mostly in the south and the north.
Yeah.
Now, do you see APC winning the next coming election? That is, be it federal, state, and local government level. Looking at the fact that the NSAS has portrayed the government in the negative way.
Well, for me, NSAS it has its own positive and negative sides. It's not like, for me, it's a win-win thing. It showed government, certain areas that government needs to close up. And for me, government demonstrated an uncommon passion and love for people by allowing group of Nigerians to express their minds. I love that part, and that freedom should not at any point be taken from the youth, not only the youth, from Nigerians. So that's one positive side I've seen in NSAS. Then the other negative side is the quantum level of destruction, which I don't subscribe to. Even if we are not happy with any government policy, we don't go about destroying government property. Government property that is provided by either of the party does not belong to that government. It belongs to you, the people. The government, when you say government is just an artificial creation of man, government is you that enjoys that thing and makes use of that facility. Sure. I mean, why would you now want to destroy yourself? That is one part that, in fact, the most negative part of the NSAS. And what that has done, it has showed us that we need to move closer. We need to close our gaps, reintegrate with our various community, and ensure that we have a safer environment. Now, it's as a result of that, we are looking more into having, having state police and having people around. It might not be state police, our neighborhood.
Cover up for that area.
Yeah, we'll cover up in that area to breach the security lacuna.
Okay, so with that,
I want to believe that we are still very strong in Lagos State and other southwest states, and even in Nigeria, because most of the parties, most of the states that are being controlled by APC, most governors in Nigeria, they are still APC. You can still see some governors defecting from PDP to APC. So it's a reflection of the fact that APC is a party that can, turn around the fortune of the country. The economic, what we need to do is, let's put the right man to drive the affairs. Forget about the party. It is not the party that will determine who will give us the Eldorado, the Nigeria of our.
So you're not saying that if people should look at it from the angle of the party,
even if people decide to vote against APC and put PDP, as long as they don't put the right person, we might be in a hotter soup than we are now. But it is the person that has done it before, a person that understands financial re-engineering, a person that understands the concept of creativity, thinking outside the box and doing something new all the time. That's the kind of leaders that we want. That's the kind of leader that can take Nigeria out of the ditch and put us on a very solid pedestal. Okay.
It's been nice talking to you, sir. Semi-final note, sir, briefly. Let's look at it. What are the word of advice would you like to pass across to your people, to the people of this local government now and come before the general election?
Well, my advice to the people of Ifakojai is to, now everybody needs to shield their sword. We need to come together and have united front, that we the old essence is we were once like one family. Don't forget that when we started like a community, a small community then, and we kept expanding until Ifakojai has gradually turned to a city. Now, if the expansion, if you have to take advantage of the expansion, we only need to network, discover ourselves, know ourselves better, bring the best out of each and every one. Through that, Ifakojai will be a place of our dreams. Strong, and I also want to advise the youth that while I was very young too, I was told that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. You are still the leaders of tomorrow. Don't lose hope. You have to get prepared for tomorrow, because when tomorrow comes and meets you unprepared, you might not be able to fill the gap. Get prepared, go to school, prepare to do decent things, build career, motivate people. Forget those who keep coming to you and telling you that you don't need to go to school to get rich. If you go to school, education is a license to world of opportunities. Once you're educated, forget it. Even if you don't have money, you have hope of a brighter, rewarding future. So take advantage, look at every opportunity that comes your way. Not only education, even those who are educated, an educated mind does not just go to school. An educated mind is someone who had gone to school and knows what to do with that knowledge acquired to better his life. That is someone who is educated. So my advice to all the youth is, don't ever give up. In whatever situation you are currently, if you need help, the help might not necessarily have to be in terms of finances. It might be counseling. If you need help, don't hesitate to meet the right leader with the right mindset. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Then I don't know if you have any of your candidates you are trying to, like, maybe a word of campaign concerning the next coming election.
Well,
let the viewers hear your views concerning your candidates, the type of campaign you need to, like, canvass.
Well, with the opportunity given to me to campaign for the candidates in Ifakojai, the current election is the local government election, which I know will come up on the 24th. The local government election is the one that concerns you and I. Every citizen, everyone that lives in Ifakojai should take part in the local government election. And for Ifakojai, this is the progressive local government. The progressive party, the APC, my party, your party, our party, is a party to vote for when it comes to local government, state elections, in fact all elections in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because this election determines our leaders. Now, at the local government level, the candidate of the party is USMAN HAMZAT. Okay. USMAN AKANBI HAMZAT. And for the councillors, Ward A councillor, they were incoming councillor. They are okay. For Ward A is Jelili Adetunji. For Ward B is Mokito. For Ward C1 is Sharafa, C2 Phylum Adenekon. Then Ward D is the same guy, Ricardo. Ward E, it's Debo. Debo is Debo is the one in Ward E. Then Ward F, the current deputy leader of the house. Victor. His name is Victor.
Yes.
Onifade. Those are the candidates of the APC. But don't forget, at this election, what is important is voting for the party. You're not going to see the names of all these aspirants. You're not going to find their names. So come out en masse and vote APC.
APC.
That's all.
So finally, what would you like to be remembered for?
Well, I'm not quitting the stage yet. I always want to be known and be remembered for my good deeds and what I stand for in Ifakojai. I stand for good governance. I stand for empathy. I stand for, providing the right leadership. I stand for good governance. So anyone who does not stand for something falls for everything. For me, I want to be remembered for what I stand for and the number of lives that I've been able to touch positively in Ifakojai and everyone.
Okay, on that final note, we've been able to, yes, finally, you still
No, I'm okay.
Probably we are done here today. We've had much more that we ever thought of from Honorable today. That is the president of Honorable Dayo Saka Fafunmi, who happens to be a stakeholder in this local government, that is in Ifakoja local government, and one time three times member Lagos State House of Assembly.
Yes.
So he has said it all here. We would like to be remembered for what he has done positively to impact positively on the people of Ifakoja in particular, and to the people of Lagos State and Nigeria as a whole. Why don't you join us on this program next time? I still remain myself, AKANBI. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful day.